The object of this video is to show you how, by altering the balance of the saddle, you can alter the way of going of the horse. At the moment, what we have got on the horse is a saddle at atmospheric pressure. So basically we've inflated it with the saddle on its back. We've let the air out until there's no more air coming out. There's still air in there, but it's at the same pressure as the outside air pressure. So then we seal it off, put it on the horse, and then we're going to start making adjustments from there. The first place to start is at the front, and we are only putting enough air in the saddle just until we see it lift. We don't use air to make a saddle fit. The fitting comes from the tree, the head plate, and the panel design, which all have to be correct for the horse. Okay, so here we've got what's called a dual inflator, and you can see there's two outlets, and I can basically inflate a pair of bags. In this case, it's the two at the front that we put on the right hand side of this saddle, and on the left hand side we've got another one of these that does the backs. I can insert air here, and I can remove air here. I'm going to unclip both pipes, so now I've got free flow of air between the airbags. Okay, so I'm looking in here just to see that the saddle lifts. I expect it to lift on 3 pumps. If I don't see it, I will not do any more, because any more than that is basically too much. 1, 2, saw it lift there. Yes, definitely. Okay, so now we're just going to clip off so that we trap the air in the left and the right, so there's no communication now between the left and the right. We only have communication between the airbags when there is air being put into the saddle. So now we've adjusted the front, we need to see the horse move in the saddle, and we will then start using the back bags up and down the back of the saddle to balance the rider. We don't know where the optimum position is, and every rider it will be subtly different. So we're going to start at atmospheric, then we're going to put the rider well out of balance forward and well out of balance backwards, and we're going to find the optimum point by trial and error. Now this horse is cold, but even so, what I'm seeing is that the horse really isn't using its hind legs as much to propel it along as it could do. It all looks very nice, but it could be better. If we look at Maggie's position, she's actually thumping down in the seat. Now, to some that might not look too bad. It might look like she's rising, but she's having to put too much effort into that rise. So what we're going to do now is we're going to exaggerate it the other way. She's already too far behind the movement. We have the back valve on the left-hand side of the saddle. This will do both back bags. We're going to open both, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pumps of air. Seal off. Away you go. Let's see, we're in trot now. Now already the horse looks more forward, but now the attitude of the horse is on the forehand and not sitting. It's definitely a more forward stride, and Maggie is spending not a lot of time in the saddle. She's spending more time being pinged out of the saddle. Also, as you notice, the horse is a bit fussy in the contact. Okay. So it's obviously too high. So now what we're going to do, we're going to undo both clips and we're going to take some air out. Do we know how much? No. Do we care? No. We're just going to take some out. should always be asking the question, can it be better? Okay, here we go. Instantly that looks better from Maggie's point of view. She looks softer in her way of rising, not putting as much effort in. The horse doesn't look on the forehand, and it doesn't look too much on its hind legs. Starting to swing through. If I was being picky, I would say she's slightly still too forward. When the horse, can you just send her forward a little bit? When she becomes more forward, Maggie gets pinged. So we need to just throttle that back a bit. So again, we've unclipped both airbags, 1001, 1002. Okay, let's see her go again. You got more control now? Yes. Okay. What at the moment is a horse that is working nicely and the rider seems to be balanced, and this has taken probably about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of riding. Now what we need to do is balance the rider laterally, and this is more important. So, to do this, I need her to ride an exercise for me. Now, this is a reasonably well-schooled horse, and it can ride a square. If you can't ride a square, then we will ride a circle. There you go. Inside leg, outside hand. There, you see, inside leg, outside hand. Inside leg, outside hand. Yep. Okay, now change the rein. Okay, so now inside leg to outside hand. What do you feel? She swings her quarters out. She rushes, but she doesn't actually bend, does she?
It's a bit like a bus.
Yep. It's like trying to steer a plank of wood, yeah?
Yep.
Yep. You can see that because she doesn't actually truly bend and she just speeds up when she goes around the corner. Okay, so this horse is what I describe as a right hind drive horse. Stronger with its right hind, it's stronger with its left fore. What it's able to do is carry its weight with its right hind and bend its body around that right hind leg. And therefore, one would appreciate that that is a better trot, more flexible, more easy, more rhythmical trot. On the left rein, with the propulsion leg being the inside, but it's now the weaker left hind, she tends to push harder still with her outside hind and push herself in. She doesn't balance correctly, and there's not the ability to be able to flex around the inside leg. Is this the horse or is this the rider? We firmly believe that horses are made by their riders. In other words, their musculature is directly influenced by how the rider distributes the weight. Maggie sits to the right. This horse is stronger in the right hind. By compensating for how she sits, by putting more in the right back of the saddle and the left front of the saddle, we balance the rider and pull the saddle more centrally on the horse. Now, we're not talking about big, massive adjustments. This saddle is sliding off the right. It is very subtle, but it is very profound in the way the horse goes. Okay. I'm now standing on the left-hand side. This is the valve for the back. I'm going to do the back first. Where we started at the front before and then went to the back, now we're starting at the back with an asymmetric adjustment, and then we'll move to the front. You've got to think of the back as being for the rider and the front as being for the horse. basically, Maggie doesn't actually sit, nobody sits in the middle of a saddle. You sit on the back 2/3 of the saddle. The front third sticks out in front of you and is more influential to the horse's shoulders. So, this pipe here goes round the back and goes to the right-hand side back bag. I'm going to take that clip off and I'm going to put 2 pumps of air in the back right. Now we're only going to do the back and then we're going to see how the horse goes. Now, the prophecy is that the horse will bend easier and be more responsive of the rider's leg. The rider will feel more balanced, but the neck won't be as soft as it could be until we do the front adjustment. So let's see that. The mare's not so fussy anymore. She's actually dropping a pole. Now, when you go into that corner, I want you to apply your inside leg now. Yes, we've actually got some bend. And the turn. And open the inside rein, outside leg. And she goes around the corner nicely. Okay, now, I want you to judge how soft the neck is. I want you to try and play with the bend on this rein for a couple of turns, and then I want you to change the rein and see what the bend is like on the other rein. Okay, change the rein, and now tell me what you feel on the right rein, and show me. I want you to give the rein away. Once you've established the bend, the flexion, I want you to give the rein and see whether she stays there. Bend, and then give the rein away. Yep. Good. And you can give the rein away, but she doesn't come boinging back with the neck, yeah? Whereas if you tried that on the left rein, it would have been instant that she would have...
Straight back again.
Straight back again. Right. Okay. Okay, so now we're on the right-hand side. This does the front pair of airbags. Now I want to do the front left. Now, the airbag's a bit smaller. The front airbag's a bit smaller than the airbag in the back. So I can't use 2 pumps of air. I'm only going to use 1.5 as a maximum. And 2 pumps and 1.5 pumps is the maximum amount of difference that one would use in a flared saddle. 1 pump, half a pump. Now what we're expecting to see now is that the horse should be more giving in the rein or the bend to the left. Should still be as responsive of the inside leg as we've achieved, but should be able to keep the neck in that frame, in that position, without basically keeping the rein tension. Okay. Right, now change the rein. Good. Nice. There you are. Okay. Okay, so one could argue now, well, the horse has warmed up. It's nothing to do with the saddle, and it's all to do with the fact now the horse has warmed up, it's moving more easy. Okay, so let's prove it. We're now going to take that asymmetric adjustment out of the saddle that we've just put in. Okay, Mags, do you want to come back? So now I'm going to take the adjustment out. So I'm going to take 2 clips off, which is going to allow the air to move from the left to the right, or the right to the left. So that's basically equalised it, but I've still got 2 pumps in there. Now, I can't be precise, but 1001, 1002. Going to undo both clips. Same again. Wait for it to equalise a little bit. 1001, 1000. There we are. Away you go. Tell us what you get. What's your first impression?
No, not forward going as much. Heavier.
Not as forward going, heavier.
Tanking. Not faster, but just like ponderous, heavy. Heavier in my hand.
What do you feel under you?
Behind. I haven't any support. I'm double balancing. I think I am. Look like it.
She feels like she's double bouncing, but actually, if we can try and film her from behind, as she goes away, you're going to see that the right panel of the saddle is almost, for want of a better word, bouncing, leaving the horse. But the left panel stays in contact. So that movement that you're seeing only on the right panel but not on the left is the horse's ribcage falling away on that side. It doesn't matter whether it's on the left rein or the right rein. The right rein's not as bad for the movement because obviously the rider's weight is more to the inside, pushing that side of the panel down onto the ribcage. But when we go on a left bend, what we're seeing is a lift, almost like a slapping. That movement is taken up with that adjustment. So the adjustment that we just took out, we're going to put back in again, and we're going to see a more steady, stable panel. So back right, 1, 2. Front left, 1.5. There you go. Now the movement you see with a FLAIR panel is when the rider's bottom hits the saddle, the panel will squash. That's your shock absorber. But what we aren't seeing is a slapping that we were seeing before. Now go on the other rein in front of us, please. Feel more solid now?
Yep, definitely. And more responsive to me again. Responds to my leg now where she wasn't last time.
Right. She definitely looks more controlled.
Yes, definitely.
You're getting elevation, but it's not all squirting out the front door now.
Yep.
FLAIR is the ultimate in adjustment of the saddle. It gives you the ability to fine-tune that saddle to horse and rider. Everybody argues then, no, it's one horse, one saddle. No. If you've got a string of horses and they can all take the same saddle, then you are going to take that adjustment and you're going to take that adjustment to all the horses. I guarantee you all your horses will be the same way round if you've owned them for more than 6 months to a year. They will be all right hind drive if you sit to the right, all left hind drive if you sit to the left. It's a case of balancing the saddle and tuning the saddle up so that you get the very best from the horse because the horse is able to carry your weight centrally. As a final thing, this is not compensation for bad riding. What we are adjusting for is your skeletal imbalance, which you have in your pelvis, not because you are lazy or you just can't be bothered to sit straight. The best people that we've ever pressure tested are people that regularly do Pilates exercise. But even those people will still have an underlying bias to sit to the left or the right. And it's this underlying bias that we are trying to eradicate using FLAIR. I hope this has been a useful video for you. You will find more on Wow Saddle's YouTube channel, and thank you for listening.